Hey Wanderers, and welcome back to Outlaws Wanted. Last time, the crew of the Honor tried to relax at Homestead. Unfortunately, the Black Dreadnaught is ensuring the conflict between the Galactic Alliance and the Imposition remains a costly stalemate. The leader of the Outlaws realized that in order to stop chaos, the Black Dreadnaught must be destroyed. The crew of the Honor has been assigned this challenging mission. Where we come back to the crew, you are all kind of in orbit, floating nebulously in space around the space station known as Homestead.
Are we? I was going to go talk to Camilla first before we left.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. Yes, sorry. So, you are docked at the space station known as Homestead. You agree to meet Camilla in a canteen. She's, like, eating a leaf, like a giant leaf, as you guys sit down. She's holding it in, like, four of her 6 arms. So what can I do for you, Malcolm?
Hey, Camilla. So, we have a mission. We're going to try to run some reconnaissance to see what we can learn about the Black Dreadnaught and kind of form a game plan on how to tackle it. And I was wanting to know if you and some of the keepers want to tag along.
Well, here's what I'll say. As far as running a reconnaissance, I don't know if you want to bring more ships with you, but if you give me, like, a location, a place to strike, a way to get there, all of us keepers are bored. We're not used to sitting still, and we're not used to not having anything to do, so you tell us when and where, and we'll be there.
That sounds pretty good. And if it makes you feel better, you're not alone. All the outlaws aren't used to having nothing to do, and they're all bored too, so...
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of you here, and also I did not know how many outlaws there were in general. I mean, you guys kind of like the keepers have a reputation of being, ambiguous? No? Hidden, I guess? There's probably a more... Secretive. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of you, but there's a lot of keepers too, and we're ready for, we're spoiling for a fight. I think we're looking for vengeance is my point.
Okay, yeah, we'll let you know what we find, and look forward to fighting with you.
We'll be sharpening our claws and mandibles.
Sounds good, Camilla. All right, now I head back to the ship, and we can go.
Cool, you head back to the ship. All right, all of you are on board your ship. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before you make way for Core Forged Home?
Well, I'd like to talk to people about what our plan of attack is at some point.
Oh, dude, you can just... Y'all make your way, and you're just kind of, like, in space as you have this conversation. You're all sitting around the table of the canteen. Lucy is charging in a corner. Not the canteen, gosh, your commissary. Anyways.
So, a couple of things. For fighting this Black Dreadnaught, do we want to try to ally ourselves with more parties? I mean, if we could get the Galactic Alliance or the Imposition or even the Guild of Commerce or United Colonies to help us out, like, if it's 4v1, we might stand a chance, and we have the keepers, but I don't want to just throw away their lives for nothing, and the more people we have striking on this, the better.
I definitely agree that having more allies would be great, but right now things aren't doing so good between Imposition and the Galactic Alliance. I think it'd be a tough sell to get them to agree to cease fire and help.
Maybe the general plan of attack here is to, make as many friends as possible and see which of those we can continue to recruit into our ranks.
I am so excited to turn Cody's very nice plot into friendship is magic.
The power of friendship.
Maybe that is the plot. We're just going to talk to Marilla, I thought, right?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. This is like long term. This is not what we're immediately doing.
Yeah, for now we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk to Marilla and likely going to do reconnaissance on the Black Dreadnaught after that. I'm guessing we won't go back to Homestead in between. And depending on what happens in the reconnaissance, we may attack then. I don't know.
Right, yeah, okay. I guess it depends on why the Galactic Alliance and Imposition think they're fighting this time and where they're at on the threat of the Black Dreadnaught.
Have they ever needed a reason in the past?
Well, no, but it kind of helps. You can't diffuse the reason if you don't know the reason, you know what I mean?
I also think things are different than in the past. The galaxy or universe has never seen this full scale of war. Usually there's squabbles and stuff, but everyone kind of is happy with a Cold War-esque scenario where now we are just kind of in brutal open combat where no one's winning, and I would imagine that they would want to put the Interstellar Council back in its place and return to business as usual, so they might be a little bit more willing to listen.
I mostly agree. However, I can say I think the Guild of Commerce will be a hard sell. I imagine they are doing quite well with Galactic Alliance and Imposition and Interstellar Council all being at war. I think we will have a difficult time persuading them that ending that cash flow is in their best interest.
I mean, we do have a favor from what's-his-face, though.
Oh, yeah, what's his name? He said he owed us one, but I don't know how much pull he has in terms of something as big as this.
Yeah, he did say he owed us one, and if someone had a recording of that episode that just came out, or the last episode of this came out, then I just listened to that and I still don't remember his name.
Captain Whalen.
That's his name.
I mean, who? I don't remember anybody owing us a favor.
I don't know if it was necessarily owing us a favor, but it was like, we're not enemies after this, so maybe he'd be willing to listen kind of thing.
Vika, you earned that favor through your death, so we appreciate that.
Okay, that's why I don't remember it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't know, I feel like this isn't a problem that the Outlaws can solve on their own. As Outlaw Commander Laura Lee stated, we're going to need help, and I don't think it's wise of us to only focus on help where we think it will be easy to gain.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying low-hanging fruit first, that's all.
I that's not a bad idea, but I mean, ask Lucy about how good the Imposition is in combat, and I think they'd be good to take apart that Black Dreadnaught if we are able to get them more firepower.
That's an option to keep open.
Man, just even thinking about giving the Imposition more firepower just kind of gives me chills, but I guess I'll get over it.
I understand. So, what is our plan for this prison break? Are we breaking this person out? Are we breaking the planet out? What are we doing?
Do we know that she's in prison?
No.
If what Lucy said was true, it sounds like the whole planet's a prison, but I guess that's to be seen when we get there.
And how it's guarded.
What Lucy said is this whole planet is a prison and there are no guards.
Well, that might make things a little easier. We gotta be careful with our ship, though, because we might not... They might be more willing to take our ship to get off-world.
Well, I don't think we'll have too much trouble when we show up, because it used to be an Imposition ship, remember? It may not look as much like it now, but still has some of those old markings on it, so we might not be too conspicuous when we arrive.
I think it's less about being conspicuous and more about, I don't know, some of these prisoners trying to jump ship on the planet.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Grand Theft Auto, not Grand Theft Spaceship, not getting in.
We'll just have to make sure we lock up.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Lucy'll defend the kitchen to the bitter end. So I think we'll probably be fine there.
Yeah, I mean, worst come to worst, there's always the Slug Express back home, I guess.
That is true. Yeah, I was actually just thinking. I don't think we have too much to worry about because Lucy will not only defend his kitchen. He also said he doesn't want any of these people stepping foot in his kitchen. So I think he'll be motivated to protect the ship.
He'll take it seriously, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. And Vika stands up. That said, I do want to get this cloaking device ready to go. So if we do need to hide the ship, we at least have an option.
That is an excellent idea.
Yeah, I'll come help you with that, Vi.
That sounds good.
Captain, if you have a second.
Oh, sure. Sully, what's up?
Do you have any pull with the Galactic Alliance, or is it just... I know we all have reasons for being out, and I'm not trying to pry, but do you think we'll be able to get them on our side to help us out with anything?
I might. I'm sure there's a few officers that don't think too badly of me. I was a decently respected officer when I was still with them.
So I think Vi and Jyla are... Oh, goodness. Where would a cloaking device need to be installed?
Hang on. I have the floor plan of the ship. Let me check.
Go in the engine room?
I think that you could probably put it in the engine room just because it's like not a huge thing. It's more like a field generator, or like maybe in like the area next to the teleporter room could expand.
Yeah.
I assumed it went to the end, or putting it by the engine makes sense if it's drawing a lot of power as well.
Yeah, and if you're trying to like hide your drive signature or something like that.
We're probably hopping back between the engine room and the bridge so that there's like the ability to get the cloaking device up from the bridge, but I think the main part is probably in the engine room. So
yeah.
we head back there and start hammering or whatever we need to do to get that installed.
So y'all are next to the engine room, basically having to, like, put up a structure to hold this thing and then, like, integrating all the power and wiring and all that stuff.
My room is getting a lot smaller.
I think Vika is, like, working on wiring something, and Jyla's holding something up so that she doesn't get crushed. Hey, Vi, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure. But I don't need duct tape right now, if that's what you're going to ask.
No, I wasn't going to ask that this time. It's kind of a personal question, but what was your husband like?
Oh gosh. I mean, he was a very straight-laced guy. Very kind of uptight, honestly. But he was a good man.
Did you, like, disagree about stuff?
Oh, all the time.
Because I don't know how he'd feel about you being in the Outlaws, I guess, if that's how he was.
No, he would not have approved at all. But at some point, you know, that wouldn't have been his decision to make. Although I probably wouldn't have honestly joined if he wasn't gone.
So if you disagreed all the time, how did you deal with that, I guess? If it was like big important stuff.
Honestly, so all right, in the colonies, it's at some point someone has to make the decisions. Someone has to be the captain, someone has to take care of the ship. Like someone takes on those jobs. And in our case, he made the decisions. And I may not have always liked them, but he was the one who made the choices, and I would go with them. And I mean, we talked about him afterwards, but it was less of constant disagreements and more that at some point, like I said, someone had to make the choices. So it was okay because you trusted him. Is that? Yeah. It was very utilitarian in that sense, that part of our relationship. But it's at some point, yeah, I trusted that he would make the decisions that was right for us and our family. All right. Did you need the duct tape now? No, I'm still okay. Are you having trouble with that? I mean, not mostly. Sully and I get along pretty well. We have fun. That's good. But he asked me to do something. I don't know if I could do it in the moment. And I guess I don't disagree with him, but I kind of do. And I guess I hope that it doesn't come to that in the end. Sorry, that's being cryptic. I mean, if I'm picking up on what you're saying, it sounds like this is something that we're all just gonna have to hope doesn't happen. Because I'm guessing, at least in some sense, this has to do with chaos and dealing with them. And I hope we don't run into chaos up close and personal. You know, like us running in that ship way back when feels like forever ago. Oh, I guess you don't remember that, do you? No, I do remember that one. Okay. Like, looking back at that seems space and stupid. Yeah. Now that we know, I don't think I could do that again. No. Knowing what we do now, and I hope it doesn't come to something like that. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I will say that I think all of us are a lot closer after all of this, and I think we're all going to try and keep each other from doing stupid stuff like that again. So, if it makes you feel any better, you're not the only one looking out for him. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Are you sure you don't need duct tape on that? That one sure looks like I could use it. If I hit something and, like, steam starts shooting out, yes, duct tape now.
So, it's a pretty long trip out here to the middle of nowhere. in the edge of space. Is there anything else that anyone wants to do while you are waiting to arrive at this penal colony?
I think Sully is doing two separate things. He's spending time researching the little bit of chaos they have on their ship.
Okay.
I don't have any specific questions for that as Zach, but I think that like he'd be like trying to figure out what he can about it.
Okay.
If it's just flavor text, that's also fine because I don't have.
No, that's fine. There is something you can learn. It just might not be super satisfying. And then what's the other thing?
I think he's trying to work on optimizing Jyla's algorithm for tracking the Black Dreadnaught.
Vicus,
sorry. He's trying to optimize Vika's algorithm on it, like giving it a different set of eyes since they handle problems a little differently.
So basically you're making me probably 2 investigation checks.
All right, we'll start with the chaos. That'll be an 8.
Okay, so basically this is maybe a little grisly. Would Sully object to doing animal testing? If the answer is no, that's okay. It just changes my flavor text.
I think he would object to it for the fact that he, like, has space magic where he can feel life force.
Okay, cool. So what this is it's not alive in any measurable way that would be considered normal, right? So usually you would look at something like this and there would be, like, cells or, like, microorganisms or some small, like, very base building block of life if you were to assume that this is, like, a concentrated, like, bacteria or something like that. And that's not what you find. You can look at it under a telescope and you can see, like, individual... I'm going to show my ignorance of chemistry here a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize to our audience. I don't know chemistry that well.
You've already screwed up because you called it a telescope.
A microscope. You can look at it under a microscope and you could see, like, particles and, like, atoms, like, small molecules, but none of them are familiar and none of them have any of the constituent building blocks of life.
Is there any way that Sully can, like, do any kind of testing that lets him see if it's able to reach beyond, like, death?
Yeah, if you did animal testing, which he said he didn't do, and not with a roll of an 8, basically, is the other answer. Okay, and then make me another investigation check to try to narrow down that answer more.
I got an 11.
Dadgum. You look at it not from a technical standpoint, but you almost, like, reach out to it in a more, like, in your weird sense kind of way. That would be the only way that you could, like, improve this algorithm. And it's not so much that you have any reason, you just get a sense of, like, here. Like, there are these, like, 5 obvious targets, but this is the one that seems most likely. And it's almost because it seems like the worst option, like, it is at the heart of everything, you know what I mean? It's like the center of the conflict, and it's a very likely target, but it's like a bold move, and you just get, like, the sense of, like, this is probably where this is likely to happen.
All right.
All right, anyone else want to do anything before you guys arrive?
I don't think so.
Nothing specific. I think in general, Vi's floating between the hollow table and the engine room.
Yeah, just continually trying to, like, monitor the Black Dreadnaught and try to predict future movements.
Well, and always repairs.
Gotcha, yeah.
I think we trade off handing each other coffee, like switching off the hollow table.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have like 15 minutes where we take a break and talk with each other, hand each other, like, who's ever up there a coffee, and then they'll leave.
The next shift starts.
As we obsessively try to figure this out.
Lucy brews coffee for all of you.
It's 24/7 at this point.
Yeah, he knows.
Lucy knows that Jyla needs her coffee. There's always coffee.
Yeah, and of course, Mal doesn't drink coffee. Mal drinks primarily tea.
Does he have a specific kind?
Earl Grey.
Hot?
No. Why would you assume Earl Grey? Drinks chamomile.
I mean, that's a good choice. It's better than Earl Grey.
I mean, personally, I disagree. I actually like Earl Grey, but I just wanted to avoid... I wanted to make fun of you guys for going for the obvious joke after I went for the obvious joke.
All right, so you drop out of phased anti-space, still a decent distance from core forged home, but now you, like, have optics on it. You can actually see the planet. It is a very bright glowing planet even from this far out. You can see that there are cracks and tears all over the surface of the planet with boiling lava underneath. Say boiling, probably not boiling, molten lava underneath. There are parts of it that are, like, green enough to support life, but it is a very hot, very miserable planet. In, like, alone in a solar system. There is nothing else here. There is a sun. There is a planet that sucks. It is tailor-made to be horrible.
Well, I don't know what I was expecting for a prison planet for the Imposition, but this seems to fit the bill quite well.
I think I'd tend to agree there. This seems like a pretty unpleasant planet.
Is there any way for us to land?
You can make an investigation check, I think, to try to figure that out.
While she's doing that, what do we have for Marilla? Do we have like a phone number for her? What do we have for her?
You have this planet.
So this planet and her name.
Yep.
Cool. What would that be? Investigate or use your head?
You said investigate, so smart, I think.
Yes.
That's a 9. So I get a hard choice.
Well, yeah, basically what you find out is there is not an elevator onto this planet. So you're going to have to, like, land on this planet, which is going to, like, require a piloting skill. And basically you kind of have two choices. You can either try to land... I'm just going to give this because at some point I could just have more people make investigation checks, but that stops being fun. You can kind of see where there is a settlement of people. You could scan and detect, like, oh, this is where there are buildings. This is where there's maybe some communication, if that. So you can either land on the outskirts or you can land in the middle of the city. Like, there are landing areas... Like, landing in the outskirts is just... you crash land onto a rock, you know. Landing in the middle of the city is there's an area that is open and flat and nice, but it's in the middle of this settlement. So it's kind of up to you how you guys want to approach that.
Okay, but when you say crash land on a rock, do you literally mean crash land on a rock, or just...
No, I don't literally mean smash on a rock, but what I mean is it is not like there is a nice open patch to land on. It is like this is a craggy, rocky surface that is unideal for putting a ship down on.
Okay.
So it is more risky to land there in the landing, but once you've landed there, you're on the outskirts of the city instead of right in the middle of it.
Yeah. So we get the advantage of subtlety, but it's harder to do.
Yeah, kind of.
Also, there's probably a wampa if we go out into the wilderness that will just wreck us.
Yes, I imagine we will run into Australian-like wildlife.
Which all wants to kill you.
Like a little lava monster.
We're going to get a pet lava monster now, aren't we?
Have you seen them, though? They're so cute with their little flaming eyes. Did you not have one? Like a little stuffed one when you were little? I had one.
Oh, that does not really surprise me.
What was his
Jayla.
name? His name... I think I named him Bubbles.
That's a great name for a lava monster.
It is, especially coming from Jyla.
I mean, I took Bubbles everywhere, and we were best friends. I didn't have a lot of friends.
Well, you have at least 3 now. 4 if you count Lucy, Jyla.
Lucy, you count as my friend, don't you?
Lucy, undocks himself from his charging bays and goes, "Friendship is rarely offered within the Imposition, so am I your friend? If you are offering, then I must say yes."
So 4.
Yeah, 4 friends. All right, now that that's settled, I think we can decide on where to land. I think the subtle approach is probably the best. I know that's out of character for me, but...
Yeah, are you feeling all right there, Jyla?
What can I say? Good old Sully's rubbing off on me.
Jyla Mavek, I thought you said you didn't want to talk about that now.
Mal, you think you can handle a rocky landing?
Well, let's just skip past that and let's try landing on the outskirts here. I think I like that idea of not landing right in the middle of this town.
Sounds good to me.
I agree.
All right.
Can I, give an advantage? I don't know what the atmosphere of this place is like. Is the atmosphere dangerous somehow? Is there, a lot of debris?
Do you want to try to give a narrative advantage, like an advantage?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I was gonna go to the gunnery seat and, if it was gonna be difficult to go through the atmosphere because of debris, I was gonna, be shooting it out of the way so that we didn't, crash before we even got to the planet.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Cool. I guess this is this is basically ship combat for landing the ship.
Yeah.
Not everyone has to do something, but if anyone wants to do something, one person has to make a piloting check.
I will do that.
Everyone else can try to make flavor or do something else.
Can I do a support roll to gain camaraderie? by using my weird to, like, calm Malcolm and, like, help him, like, focus on what he's doing better?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
Oof. Well, I got an 8.
So I think, what's that? You gain 1 camaraderie, but you can't use it on this? Or no? You gain 1 camaraderie, and you can either use it on this or save it.
Do I have to make that choice now, or do we wait?
You use camaraderie when you want to use
Mal
camaraderie.
makes that choice, right?
What? Yeah. Mal would make that choice after the landing, while he's making his roll.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, because I didn't know if rolling an 8 made it like, you have to pick now, whether you're using it later, or...
No,
I got a 7 for gunnery.
Okay, so I believe the way that would work is... I believe. I'm going to tell you the way that works is you are going to... I will say this is going to be avoid damage. So you're not making a status buff, you're just avoiding damage. So you're going to take half damage for whatever happens in this next coming thing.
Okay.
I'm going to try and do some support from the engine room, and try to make it so that because we're going directly to the planet, right?
Yeah, you're landing on the planet, which is like dangerous at the best of times because it means you're flying through atmosphere, which is like going to be cooking your ship actively, and it's a ship that's designed to be landed through a gravity thing.
Yeah, so I don't know specifically how to describe it, but I'm working on, I guess, keeping the engines from overheating.
Well, yeah, and it's like tough because probably you're trying to run your engines slower than they are designed to be run. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to slow the ship.
Yeah, I was thinking that you'd be like fine-tuning the thrusters so that there's like finer control while moving through atmosphere, because they're not designed for that. And
trying to cool things more than you would otherwise.
Right, because usually when things are running faster, sometimes that means like more airflow and better cooling. So like running them slower sometimes means more heat, not less. But anyways, yeah, I like that. Okay.
Cool. That is a 7.
All right, so that is going to be...
That's the same thing as Sully, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's create trouble, so you're making a status of finessed engines, which will give a +1 to the piloting check.
All right, so what all do I have now?
You have 1 camaraderie and finessed engines.
Okay.
And that finessed is at a +1.
All right, so I guess I'll make my... Landing isn't really a move that we have, but...
No, it's just piloting. Just make a piloting.
Yeah, using the helm.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to use my camaraderie point.
What'd you get?
A 14.
Awesome.
Nice.
Are you sure?
I could make it a 15.
Sully's hand is laying on your shoulder, and you can feel that he's like actively trying to like ensure that you don't lose your composure or get nervous doing this, because you're like literally bobbing and weaving through lava geysers and jagged mountains as you try to find a good place to land this ship. There's thick fog and smog from belching volcanoes as you guys bob and rattle your way down to the surface of the planet, but the ship is flying like it's never flown before in this scenario, and you are able to like gently land yourself in like a glove place, nearly perfectly hidden, you know.
So as we're descending and kind of weaving through all this stuff, Mal just kind of whispers to himself, "I am a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar."
Oh no.
Oh no, we're gonna get copyright struck.
Well, like now you're dead. Your character is dead. You're dead now. You land, you're immediately impaled on a spike.
No.
Story's over. Anyways, okay, yeah, so you guys land, like probably, we'll say miles away from the town, probably an hour's walk through kind of crappy environments. But that's an hour that other people would have to walk to get to your ship. So yeah, you're on the surface of a planet, an hour walk away from a settlement.
What did we say? I think Caitlin had asked about the atmosphere. Is this like habitable atmosphere for us?
It is oxygen atmosphere, yes. Like it is, well, I guess, whatever. Yeah, you can breathe it.
Okay. It might not be comfortable, but it's breathable.
Yeah, it's hot. It's like uncomfortably hot and smoky, but it is not unbreathable.
Well, that went better than expected.
Yeah. Pleasure flying with you, Cap. That was some fancy diving.
Yeah, I felt unusually calm there. Thanks, Sully.
No problem, Captain Malcolm Llewellyn.
So I think we essentially suit up for a hiking trip, kind of. Like we're going on rough terrain. We need water.
Are we all in our cute
snacks.
Sports gear then?
What cute sports gear does Sully have?
He looks very suburban dad going on a hike.
Oh no!
And of course, the two ladies have to be in short shorts if they're wearing sports gear, right? Isn't that how that works? Isn't that how it always
Tomb
works?
Raider standard.
Yeah.
Right.
He has that like fly fishing cap that like goes down. I don't know what they're actually called. He has like one of those hats and like a vest on.
With all like little syringes in the pockets.
Yeah, there's like different like tools, you know. He's got like an oversized backpack full of stuff.
Aw.
While all of you are getting suited up, like I imagine you're in the cargo bay area about to leave the ship, Lucy comes out of the kitchen and walks up to all of you. He's holding like a little pack, like a basket, a space basket, and he hands it to you guys and goes, "Now look, I know you feel that you must go on this mission, but I again caution you, do not go onto the surface of this horrid planet. We should leave immediately. But if you must go, please take this water and these snacks that I have made."
Did he make us trail mix?
I mean, you can open it and find out.
What did he? I opened it.
Yeah, we open it.
You open it. It's cut in half. Half of it is like bottles of water. Very nice. The other half is just like cooked, like bean paste. Like basically it's a big pile of refried beans with like 4 spoons stuck in it. The protein is very beneficial and it keeps for a long time and it should stay warm given your environments.
Aw, thanks. Thanks, Lucy.
First Marshal of the commissary, Lucy, I appreciate that you've been paying attention to my medical lessons and have been
nutrition.
On nutrition, yes. He's been very good about paying attention, and I appreciate that. I feel like your note-taking is superb.
Previous to this, I have only eaten from this tube, so I am still working to figure out how to adjust for a more needy palate.
Well, I need more of this in my life. She's like licking off the spoon.
So it tastes salted at least.
Okay, I was imagining that it had like sort of chili powder cumin in it. No.
What he did was he took beans and mashed them into goo
Then
put salt in it, and that is pretty good for him.
He makes frittatas. I didn't think he was a bad chef.
I would be lying if I said I've never just eaten pre-fried beans before just by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, refried beans are decent by themselves. It's not the most chef-worthy thing. Anyway, so I think we head off with our snacks and our water.
Before we leave, though, Mal activates the
cloaking device that we installed.
The stealth system, the cloaking device.
Oh, that's very smart.
It's almost like we got it for a reason.
Bye, Lucy. We'll see you later.
The ship shimmers, and as you step off the ship, when you like turn around and look back at it, it appears to be invisible.
Could we how do we come back to this spot? Can we like locate it? Even if we can't see it?
Do you think you're going to forget where you parked the ship?
Well, there's a bunch of rocks.
Well, I'm sure we have like a tracker.
That's what I was establishing. If we need to like breadcrumb this or like spray paint an X.
I love the idea that you thought I was going to make you roll to remember where you left your Wondermobile.
Roll for parking. Yes. Okay, Galaxy. Remember my parking spot.
All right. So you are on the surface of you're not right next to like an active volcano. Like the area that you're at, it is not totally barren. Like this is a survivable planet. Food can be grown here. So, but it is very dry and sparse. It's a very deserty kind of climate where you're at. It's just not a lot of moisture. But there is soil, and as you're like walking, you can see some plant life. It's just very like hardy, meant to survive in horrible conditions plant life. It's very like spiky and mean looking.
Do we see any moisture farmers out in the distance?
You do not see any moisture farmers out in the distance. It's very dark on this planet. Like everything's kind of low light, but there is sun peeking through occasionally as like the clouds shift enough to allow a little bit of light through. So yeah, you guys are making your way towards the settlement. Anything you want to do before, you're there?
I don't think so.
Sully's good.
I can't think of anything.
Where do we want to head once we get to the settlement?
That's a good question.
The jazz club? I hear that's a good place to find clues.
Shameless plug for our other podcast. I think we'll just kind of see I mean, I kind of think we do go to the jazz club equivalent. We'll like try to go to a meeting place and ask
Like
around
the bar equivalent, the tavern equivalent.
Yeah, and ask around for Marcilla. Is that her name?
Marilla.
Is this like jazz club or whatever we're looking for? It's basically the space equivalent of the silver chatterbox or the spilver spatterbox, right?
Or the sped spruin. Or no, the sploo spruin.
Okay, so when we get to the town, what do we see?
So as you get closer and closer to the like settlement proper, you start seeing obvious signs of agriculture. There are like enclosures full of kind of like these pretty chunky looking lizards that seem to inhabit this area that are clearly being farmed, like they're in paddocks. They're meant to provide food. You can start seeing these kind of like almost cactusy, but more like not small spikes, but like big jagged plants that are now grown in rows and like particularly being cultivated. This is like clearly being tended to provide food to this little settlement of people here. Once you actually get up to the settlement, like you eventually just find a road, like a pathway that clearly was meant to accommodate some kind of traffic. As you approach the settlement, you come up to a closed gate.
Do we have a story that we're going with about why we're here?
I thought we were going to go with honesty.
All right. If you think that'll work, I'm fine with that. How honest are you thinking of being?
Probably vague honest.
All right. Vague honest I can do.
So I knock on the gate.
You knock on the gate and from above you, someone like leans over, like, so the gate would have been like set into a gatehouse, you know? So like on top of the gatehouse, someone leans over and goes, "What do you want?"
Hi, we're looking for someone called Marilla.
You seem to be outsiders. What possible need could you have to be on such a place as this? Not a lot of people come here for tourism. I don't even know how you would have landed, and I do not recognize your faces.
Marilla is what brought us to this place. I thought we kind of said that already.
Laura Lee sends her regards, pointed us in your direction.
This person looks confused and goes, "Perhaps you landed here by mistake. This is a prison that holds the worst of the worst ever criminals. So I ask you again, why are all of you here seeking someone and seeking to enter this place? It is dangerous after all."
Well, never mind. I was going to say I'm pretty dangerous, but I don't know if that'll make you let us in or not.
I mean, if you're worried about our safety, I think we can handle ourselves.
Oh, yes. You seem to be so intimidating.
Sully in his dad gear.
What a power play it would be for one of us to take out a gun and shoot another one. Just be like, yeah, we are.
So, should we make an intimidate check? Like a group intimidate check?
You guys can. That's definitely a viable option.
What is that?
I think intimidation just kind of falls nebulously under convince.
Okay.
I think I
Grease
got a
the
negative
wheels.
to this.
Yeah, it'd be grease the wheels, yeah.
Grease the wheels, yeah.
It's whoever wants to role play through making some kind of threat, if that's what you're going for.
I mean, I thought that's what I just did, kind of halfway.
You want to do it whole way?
I mean, I thought by me saying, like, I think we can handle ourselves.
So let me, like, this is maybe something worth noting for just kind of, I don't necessarily want to say this is a rule of this game, but it's just kind of how I run games. There are times when I let the fact that you guys roleplay something appropriately justify you being successful in a scenario without a roll. So this is kind of one of those cases where there's probably a way to just in conversation convince this guy to open the gate. If you want to do something then that's like, no, I'm twisting his arm and going to threaten him, that's where it becomes a roll. I don't know what... It's not like I have planned out this way for you guys to talk him into just opening the gate. I just want it to be clear that, like, that's where, like, the line of delimitation is for me when you make a roll versus when you don't. Does that make sense why I'm explaining that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So anyways, who's trying to intimidate him?
I think that's Mal.
All right, Mal, roll me that grease the wheels.
That is a 7.
How much camaraderie do we got? Will that make it? That would be a lot to use.
I think we just have the one.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so go ahead and say what you're going to say.
How about this? we've come a long way to meet with Morella, and we just walked a couple miles through this lovely environment. And if we aren't able to meet with Morella, I'm gonna be a little upset. I might have to take it out on someone.
He clearly grins and goes, "Well, I think I can accept that. So how's about this? Either you tell me the truth as to fully why you are here, because I do not believe you are just here to speak to somebody. I need to know more than that. And also, the implication that you arrived here is the implication that you have a ship here, which I am quite interested in. So, you can either tell me that..."
I mean, you see a bunch of non-imposition people just walking through your desert here, and you wouldn't think they have a ship?
Ooh, I think you might. And I think I would like to know where it is. And I think you went in through this gate. So maybe here are your choices. Tell me where that ship is, and where I might find it. Or I would accept a duel.
Or tell the truth, right?
Oh, but I do mean the whole truth. I want to know what you plan to do with Morella, and what you plan to do with your ship, and how I might find it.
You gave us like one option, and then changed the option, and then you just changed it again.
Yeah, you gave us three
what are our
choices.
options?
What is...
No. What I'm saying is you guys are like not being fully transparent with him. Like, what I mean by this is he's like asking you where your ship that is the only way he could ever get off of this rock is.
Okay, but you said tell him the whole truth. So what, like...
Backing up to make this clear, you guys walked up to a gate of a prison colony where there is no way, like, this is not a prison, it's a penal colony, which is to say that the only way off of the reason why Australia worked is because the only way to leave Australia was a sailboat, and they didn't have those. You guys basically just showed up with a sailboat and knocked on the front door and are like, "Let us in, please." And so this guy is like very interested in like, one, how you got here. If it is a ship, he wants that ship and wants to know where it is. Or he would be willing to fight you in a duel.
Oh, go that duel option, Captain Malcolm Llewellyn.
Like you guys to him represent the opportunity for escape, and he wants that opportunity, or he just wants to fight someone for fun. So that is kind of like the hard choice. Like, that's the intimidation hard choice is you either have to tell him where your ship is and roll the dice on him not finding it, because it's cloaked, or you have to, duel this guy. Or at least that is the demands he is making as a character.
So I'm interested in this duel you're offering. What would be the rules of said duel?
Rules. Maybe you do not know where you are. The rules are, if you can beat me, you can enter.
Just shoot him right now.
I was already thinking about doing that. Oh gosh, I'm so tempted.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, I do it. I'm gonna pull it out and shoot. I'm gonna pull out my traction rifle and shoot him.
All right.
I'm specifically not trying to kill him. I'm trying to like hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh gosh, all right.
Vi is also gonna pull out her drill gun.
Are you gonna cheat?
No, I'm just pointing it at him as an additional level of force.
How can we cheat
Correct
if there
answer
are
is
no
yes. We are cheating.
So we only have one camaraderie point, right?
You only have one.
Yeah.
I rolled Snake Eyes, which gets me a 5.
Well, adding a 1 to it and making it a 6 doesn't really do much.
Oh no.
Nope, that's why I was asking if we had a second one.
You pull out your rifle and fire. He's not expecting it, but also isn't not expecting it. You know what I mean? Like, he was readying for a fight. And when you do that, he leaps down, and like, before you could really only see like maybe his head, maybe like a metal arm, you know? When he leaps off, you see that his armor, it is power armor, looks familiar for being from the Imposition, but it is clearly had to be like cobbled together from long years spent in a place without a lot of resources. So now instead of just having 2 well-working legs, he's walking on like 4 crushing and like barely held together like hydraulic spider legs as he crashes down in front of you and chops at you with his big like smoking and sputtering chainsaw sword, doing 2 damage.
As he jumps down, Mal's gonna say, Gritch, I thought that would work.
All right, is anyone else doing anything?
Would you say that these legs are like a medium item?
Are you asking if you can cut his legs off?
I'm asking if I can use my space magic to rend his legs.
You can definitely try to do that.
I'm gonna try to do that.
That's a new ability, right?
It is.
Are you specifically trying to disable his power armor, or are you trying to cut off his legs?
I mean, these aren't his actual legs. He does not have spider legs. This is like he's had to hack himself together for years, and what he ended up with
Okay, I guess I missed that specific part of the description.
So, if I don't use the camaraderie, I have a 14. Do you think I should use the 1 point?
I love this that, like, Sully in, like, dad gear is just like, vroom, like, this is over.
Yeah, what does this look like to you when you disable one of his legs?
I think it's like very, very casual. Like he learned this new power and spent a lot of time practicing, so he just kind of just like flicks his hand towards one of the legs and it just rips off like very violently. But for him, it's just like, you know, like paging through a magazine motion, like
yeah.
And it like flies into lava like 100 feet away.
Oh no!
So you casually gesture your hand and like pop one of his legs off. He still has 3, and when you pop it off, it like blood does not come spraying out of like this stump. It is clearly just like motor oil and like smoking engine comes pouring out of his leg, you know, like exhaust basically. It staggers him, but he does not fall. He continues just like rushing at Malcolm.
I'm taking a shot at him.
Okay.
That is a 10.
A 10 hits?
Yeah. So I'm aiming for its power armor. So I would say I'm aiming for like joints between specifically kind of like the arm, like between the shoulder and the arm, where it can like paralyze that arm. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. So, oh wait, but you rolled a 10, right? And what are you attacking with?
My gun.
Okay, and then what, do you want to use a tag?
Accurate. So that's an additional, at least an additional 1.
Okay, so the way that would work then is you can deal weapon damage, and then you can either do extra damage or you can create like a status effect on him.
I'll do extra damage.
Okay, cool.
No, I lied. I'm gonna do a status effect of paralyzed.
Take out another leg.
Okay, so how that is gonna work, like the exchange here is, so you fire on him and it does like start to like screech like gears to a halt as he stumbles and freezes, but he swings with his other arm and fires at you with a rifle, also dealing 2 damage. But then the next time around, he's not going to be able to deal damage to the next person. All right, so anyone else want to do anything before we're back around?
Yes. Jyla's gonna pull out a bomb and try to throw it towards another one of the mechanical legs in an attempt to disengage it from the rest of him.
Okay.
Nice. That's an 11.
All right. You chuck a bomb, it rolls like cleanly under and pops another one of his legs off. This like makes him actually lose balance now as he like slips to the ground. You can see his power armor straining as he tried to like bring his gun around and fire on you, but he is unable to because he was paralyzed before. All right, now we're back around. Everyone's gone. It's anyone's game.
I'll go. I'm gonna swap to my traction blade being in melee mode and run up to him and take a swing at him. I don't know if I've ever used this melee, or if I have, it's been a long time.
I don't think you have. So now you're rolling plus tough instead of plus, I think it would have been plus sharp on range.
Cool.
Cool. Are you specifically trying to like cut a leg off like what you guys are doing, or is it just chopping at him?
I'm trying to like disable power armor. I think the legs is still probably the best bet.
Okay.
So I specifically don't want to kill this guy.
Right, yeah, you said you were trying to be non-lethal. Okay, yeah.
Well, I rolled double 6, so that is a 13.
Right. So with that, you just like pop both of his legs off cleanly, and he plops to the ground. He drops his axe, or he drops his chainsaw sword and his rifle and goes, "Well, I do know when I've been bested, perhaps you will survive." And he like pushes a button on his power armor and the gate creaks open as he grabs one of his severed legs and starts like using it like a shovel or like a paddle to push himself back in.
to drag himself across. That was a fun fight.
Yeah.
Haven't had a fight like that in a while.
Off to a good start, aren't we?
Yeah, all things considered, all of you are looking pretty good, just like a little dusted up, you know?
I mean, I don't think Sully's looking pretty good. He does have dad gear on, so.
So you walk into some place that is, it's kind of like a place of duality. Everything here is very ramshackled and very barely held together. This is clearly a place without a lot of supplies and without the means to create something as ornate as what would be consistent with the Imposition. So if you can imagine, like, usually the Imposition is big, larger than life, grandiose. All of this is the opposite. No buildings are more than 2 stories. Everything looks kind of barren. You can see the attempt at ornamentation. Like, people are clearly trying to make facsimiles of these big, like, Gothic sweeping buildings that they are used to, but are completely unable to given, like, what they have to work with. But on the other hand, this is probably the most, like, prosperous and peaceful looking Imposition place you have ever been. There are, like, clusters of people chatting on the street. It is very, like, there's pleasant music drifting through the streets. It's like a very kind of idyllic, like, simple little village full of people in, like, power armor almost universally, and a lot of it is, like, kind of looking worse for wear, but you can see that, like, there have been shovels swapped in. There are people that are, like, clearly designing their power armor for, like, agriculture or for construction. So yeah, you walk into a cute little farming village full of ex-mech monsters.
We hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Outlaws Wanted. Music for the show is from danosongs.com, audionautics.com, zapsplat.com, and the public domain. If you liked this show, you can check out more of our actual plays at the Wandering Gamer Network's website or Podbean, as well as interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We also post Let's Plays on YouTube under the channel Wandering Gamer Network, and on Twitch we can be found at Wandering_Gamer_Network. You can also find us on YouTube under the channel Wandering Gamer Network, and on Twitch we can be found at Wandering_Gamer_Network. Now remember, it's not the outlaw that makes trouble. It's trouble that makes the outlaw.